Well, hey everybody, I've got some really exciting news. My wife and I, we're getting ready to welcome our third child into this world, and that means I got to get out of here and back home to Michigan, but have no fear, Think Bigger fans. Camera crew, the guys, they're coming with me. They're going to crash at my house. They're going to sleep on the couch, and we're going to be filming Think Bigger the whole time I'm gone. Come on, guys. Let's go pack up the gear, and let's get out of here. Let's hit the road. Guys, we're not, my car's over. No. Maybe we can just do a guest host.
Are you ready to be a host?
Am I ready to be? Of course I'm ready to be a host.
Hi, my name is Joe Chura. I'm the CEO of Dealer Inspire and Launch Digital Marketing, and I am your host of today's Think Bigger. Truth be told, I've been wanting to be the host of this show ever since Jason started, and now I finally have my chance. On the show today, we have Gregg, the Digital Marketing Director of Toyota of Naperville. Tom is one of the smartest people I know, and we are about to geek out, which I am excited about. So sorry in advance, Jason, if this is too advanced stuff to talk about, but I'm going to go for it anyway, because now is my turn. So I'd like to start the show off with a cheers to you, my friend.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on Think Bigger. I've known you for a while now, I think, 5 years at least?
Yeah.
So in the auto space?
Yeah.
Tell me about yourself. How did you get started in the automotive industry?
It was a question that I had. I was 16 years old, looking for some extra work in the summertime, and my stepdad suggested I wash cars. So I began selling cars at 18, and from there it just led on to more opportunities. A lot of people give me some really good chances and allow me to see what I can do.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So explain to me, you're one of the most technical internet people that I know in the auto space from a dealership side. How did you get from selling cars to where you're at now in your current position at Toyota of Naperville?
Well, selling cars, when I became a used car manager, that's where the interest that I had with merchandising and marketing. And really to be a good used car manager requires a lot of merchandising and marketing digitally. I've always had an interest in computers and just technology. So I think that the two work well together with having the merchandising side and more of the digital marketing, but also the technical side as well. So even when I worked in Chicago as an internet manager, when we had a problem with a computer, it was a very low budget store. So I spent hours on the phone with Dell for tech support. And when we'd have an issue, I would learn what to do the first time. And then when it would happen next time, I would typically know what to do. And then I would kind of build upon that. I'm sure you probably did many of these things as well through your background.
It's funny how I try and separate IT people from digital marketing people, but it seems like that's how we all got our start, is like fixing a computer or working on some program that had nothing to do with the web. So it's really interesting you say that, because that's a common theme I hear from a lot of people that now are like into digital marketing.
Well, when you're the internet guy, you become the IT guy.
Right, exactly.
So it's kind of a role you you bear.
I know. I still tell my mom that I just fix computers, so it's just easier. So tell me about some strategies that you are implementing at Toyota of Naperville, because you guys are one of the largest Toyota stores in the Midwest, right?
Yeah, we are. So we're number 2 in the Midwest, number 1 in Illinois for new vehicle sales. In the nation for certified, we're number 8. The strategy is just to take care of the customer is first and foremost. And just like with Google's goal is to have the best experience for the visitor, our goal is the same thing. So we're putting strategies together is to have a good experience. So we know the best experience is going to certainly provide us the best outcome.
So as far as a lot of people that are listening to this show, they're into digital marketing in the auto space. What are some I don't want to say tactics, but are you a believer in search engine optimization and content and paid search? Like, what's your strategy for a dealer that's listening to this that has, I know your process is phenomenal, your leadership team is great, but as far as like into the brass tacks of digital marketing, like what are some things you believe in that you've seen work?
For us, it's about consistency. So when you put a campaign together, it's about having all your different mediums that match the same content, that have all the different aspects.
Wait, can you pause there? Can I hug you right now, please? No, that's awesome.
Well, so when we do a campaign, so we have the 2016 Prius that's just coming up. So we're going to have a landing page. So on the landing page, we're going to have some things in the home page that will point to it. We're going to do Facebook posts, we're going to do articles. But everything we do, so we're going to do email blast to customers that had either visited the store in the past year, that had not purchased a Prius, that had purchased a Prius in the past 5 years. We also really encourage our sales team to get involved and to do a lot of data mining themselves. And so what they're going to do is they've been doing postcards. So I pulled lists of all their customers. So in addition to digital marketing, we also combine more traditional. Handwritten postcards are very effective. So phone
nice.
calls.
How do you measure that?
The postcards?
The postcards and just your digital marketing efforts. So the one thing I'll just say is that we see a lot of people that are either don't set up goals for analytics or don't know how to read goals. You guys set up goals, right? Goal conversion tracking.
The digital provider did. Yes, we have goals that are set up. I haven't done those myself, so I'm not going to do them.
But you obviously look at the referrals and what's bringing you the most leads.
Absolutely.
So in today's, if you were going to look at your report for last month, like what brought in the most amount of leads? What referral source? Was it social media? Was it Google AdWords, organic?
We have a lot of referrals. Referrals would be the highest.
Oh, okay.
So we have our top referral is Toyota. Then we have Car Gurus is great for us. So they have, and Car Gurus I think is going to determine how you operate internally. So back to used cars. If you're an effective merchandiser, if you have a good process, a lot of V-Auto dealers that believe in the V-Auto process are going to price to market. So Car Gurus is a website that will expose whether you're priced to market, below market or above market.
Yep.
And if you're a store that prices high with relative to what the market price is, it's not a source that will probably do very well because Car Gurus will say your price is high and look someplace else.
And it's completely unbiased. It's
Unbiased,
not.
no.
Okay, that's good.
So you can't pay more to
get
be in a better visibility to the sellers. Well, they do have the top 3 placement spots, but in terms of the actual results of whether it's a good buy or not a good buy, it's either high or low is what they have to that effect on there. So yeah, so if you price your vehicles according to market and do so similar to what V-Auto suggests, it's a source that does very well.
What's the percentage of leads that are coming straight from Car Gurus versus a referral to your website?
In January, we had 173 that came in through the Car Gurus platform.
Okay.
And the goals for, I don't recall what they were, but I think it was probably 20 or 30.
Okay,
Came in.
that's still a lot though.
Oh yeah, still good.
Substantial.
So, yeah, and that's a combination of calls and lead forms. So the majority is coming from the platform.
Huh. That's really neat. Yeah, I haven't. I've heard about them, and I've looked at their product, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's great
people
for
are
us.
having that kind of success. It's phenomenal. So in terms of what you think the future of automotive, I mean, where do you think we're going to be in the next 5 years? You see the Tesla model of buying a vehicle, the kind of manufacturer direct to consumer. Do you foresee if you close your eyes today and woke up 5 years later, how would the auto industry look?
5 years from now, I don't see it changing as much as I've heard some other people saying. So I read something on Facebook where somebody was saying in 5 years, the business model we know today is done, it's dead. And I have a hard time believing that. So people had said 10 years ago that it would have been dead by now.
Right.
And still people want to have that connection to experience an emotional process to buy a car. And I think people are a big part of it. So I see it evolving certainly more to a degree that it's today. I wouldn't see it being dramatically different where you're selling completely direct to the manufacturer because the stats say that over 80, 85+% of people, once they arrive at the dealership, they pick a different car than they may have intended.
Right.
So especially when you have a lot of...
You'd have to have a lot of definitive people.
Right, so yeah, and with the amount of information that's online, again, we have customers that will spend 10 hours online researching what they want to buy, and then when they get to the store, that could have been resolved in maybe 45 minutes or an hour of talking to somebody that's more familiar with the product, seeing the vehicle, test driving it. So I think a lot of the research could be expedited with the store visit.
So say I'm a B-back, right? So for those of you who don't know what that is, that's someone that has been on your lot before, that's potentially working a deal with one of the salespeople, and they just couldn't close them. So they come back at another time. Do you think online shopping or the ability for a customer to buy online is going to help the dealership with those kind of consumers that just aren't definitive the first time when they're just getting numbers.
I can see that with a deposit, certainly. I think, and then getting additional information. So Scion before it's now going away. I'm not sure if you saw that, but
Yeah, I did.
the business model that they were testing with was be able to provide more information about the experience. So to take the time limit of a 2 or 3 hour visit down to an hour or less.
Right.
And so the goal of that is to provide information for these buyers and customers beforehand. So since customers want to do a lot of research online, they can see about the warranty, the gap insurance, and any other products that are offered while they're on the website. So I think that business model of providing more information during the research process is advantageous because they're more familiar, and actually they saw the sales of the products much higher. So when somebody's more informed about a warranty and gap insurance, they're more inclined to purchase it because they didn't have that fear or maybe that wall up that, don't sell me additional products.
As far as like the facilitation of the paperwork online, do you foresee that like looking in 5 years from now?
Absolutely.
That the majority of that's going to be done online?
For sure. Yeah, that's an easy one because you have Right Signature and all these other products that do offer the ability to sign online. They have the IP address and a lot of validation behind it. So I could see certainly deposits and some beginning stages of paperwork. We do a lot of out-of-state deals where we have to explain to customers that no, we don't have any kind of process. We can send you the paperwork via email. We have to send you hard copies. You need to sign them, have them notarized, return them.
Right.
So I think our business that would be easy to facilitate out-of-state deals. A lot easier to have in some kind of a digital contracts. We do have some already in the stores. We have signature pads that people can sign the whole deal and give them the paperwork on a drive.
Do you think dealers are going to be afraid to send documents through like HelloSign or DocuSign to their customers? It seems like I definitely see like if there's 100 dealers, there's going to be 20 that are all for it. 50 are going to be gun shy, and then 30% are going to, they're going to wait until they have to.
Sure. I think the car business in general is going to be waiting the most part. You have early adopters, and then I think you'll see that those dealers probably will increase volume in numbers, and likely their CSI scores, so their customer service index, would likely increase as well if they can facilitate the process much faster. So taking a 3 or 4 hour process down to an hour or less, maybe just the delivery process, I think they're going to see higher CSI scores. So eventually I think it'll pull the dealers that are reluctant to adapt to digital signatures and similar products to what you're saying.
Yeah, to me, I feel like the consumer always wins, right? I mean, in the end, they're the ones that are buying the vehicles, and we have to adapt to how they want to buy a car or truck or SUV, motorcycle, whatever it is, right?
Well, in an efficient market, it's always going to be the ones that are more innovative and more appealing to the customer desires and wants are certainly going to be excelling more than the ones that are continuing to make the process challenging.
Well, you definitely, like I said, you're one of, not only are you a friend of mine, but you've been just a great person to watch and learn from.
Thank you.
And in terms of innovation at the dealership level, there's not many Tom Greggs out there.
Thanks.
The viewers that are watching, this show's called Think Bigger, and I know that you have this entrepreneurial mindset. You are implementing things in your dealership that are helping them sell more vehicles while still keeping the customer service at all-time highs. What are like 3 things, maybe not exactly 3, whatever. What are some things that you can tell the viewers or action steps to take to kind of live that Think Bigger mindset in their respective dealerships?
Well, think bigger, I would say first thing is to not have an ego about things. So where we see a lot of people that are stuck in their ways are ones that are thinking small about themselves. So I think if you think bigger just across the organization and doing what's right for the organization and less what's right for you, I think has probably one of the biggest implementations on success. So for us, we try not to have an ego about whether we feel it's the right decision or not, whether it's going to make us look like we're right or we're wrong. It's more of a position of what's the right thing to do. So I think that'd be one of the first things. Thinking bigger, personally, be goal setting. Communicating those goals to people that you trust that will encourage those goals, and affirming them and actually speaking as them as if they're currently happening. So as talking about this is what we are doing, as opposed to I wish I did this or that would be really cool if we did that. And we encourage our team to write goals as if as it's happening right now. So I am earning or I am selling, and outside of just business goals, we encourage them to set your own personal goals. We feel if you're just financially successful, but your health is a mess, or your relationships are a mess, and family life is a mess, that doesn't really, leave you in a good position. And it's harder to become very successful in one area if you're not in the other areas.
Right.
Because if you're making a lot of money but you're miserable, or you're out of shape, you're a mess. It doesn't really bolster up the first goal, which is to be financially successful.
Right.
So I think for us, for me and for our organization, setting goals is one of the biggest things about thinking bigger.
What's awesome about those, though, is that they're the principles of like human interaction, right? Like doing the right thing, goal setting, and there's not many successful people that I've met that don't set goals.
I agree.
And those can be, they can be goals that are daily goals, they can be weekly goals, they can be yearly goals, they can be 5-year goals. Like you have to have a goal, you have to see, you have to see where shooting that arrow, right? If you don't see the target, it's really hard. It's really hard to hit it.
Actually, as you were talking, I was thinking, thinking bigger is really being bigger, and I think that for myself, being bigger is to dial into some of the greatest minds that ever have lived. So I think if you expose yourself to books and audiobooks, I drive a lot, so I'm always on the road, and I wanted to make sure that I was using my time as effective as possible. And so I'm able to replace what could be a downtime or time listening to music, which is good, but I think consuming a full hour or hour plus to commute home to just music is not as valuable as time as you could be if you were investing in an audiobook. And one of the tips I will add to the audiobooks is one thing I saw on YouTube was with the iPhone and probably Android as well, you can speed up the pace of an audiobook. So going from 1 time up to 2, I leave it at 1.5.
And you use the Audible app, right?
I use I go on to iTunes and buy the books through iTunes directly.
Cool.
Yeah, I speed it up to 1.5, so in an hour drive, I can get almost an hour and 40 minutes of content in that 1 hour. So specific books and authors that I like, Malcolm Gladwell is I think a great one. So we talked about David and Goliath. Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of the other ones are just the positive mindset people. So I think Jeffrey Gitomer is certainly a good one. Setting your mind right going into work. You need to go into work with a positive attitude, and I think being a naysayer or a negative or a no person, as opposed to being one that's positive and trying to find ways. I think anything, Grant Cardone is more of a positive sales guy. And one of the things about him, he talks about, if you could do it, how would it be? As opposed to, that can't be done.
Well, what's funny about that is last year, it just dawned on me, it's going to sound really silly, but we have a lot of client requests, and some of them are silly, right? And you automatically want to shoot it down. But some of the requests that come in actually have helped really take our company to new levels. So I say, when there's a question that comes in and you want to say no, say yo. Okay. So it's like you have to have a little of the yes and the no, and if you have that mindset, like there is no. There's a reason you're asking this, and it may be, not everything can happen, but if you have that, like, think about it as like a yo, then automatically your mind starts to find alternatives and understand why a client is asking that, or a friend or a spouse or whoever. Yeah. So it's
that's great.
Yeah, it's very similar to that.
Sure. Another authors being Napoleon Hill, author from many years ago, from the 30s, but his content is just as relevant then as really it is now. So probably 90% of what he says can be applied today.
Yeah, I love his books.
Yeah, so I think thinking bigger is being bigger, and I think you become bigger when you invest in yourself and invest in audio programs and invest in learning, invest in going to industry events, and again, laying down the ego that you know everything, because you don't. And what you often find out is the more you learn that you don't know. The more you find out that you don't know what you thought you knew.
Right. I'm with you, man. It's been great, Tom. Thanks again for coming on the show. It's a privilege to have you, to be your friend, and I always learn a lot. I've learned some stuff today, and looking forward to the future and see where you go and see where you take Toyota of Naperville. So,
right.
Thanks. Cheers, man. Let's end it with the cheers too.
Thanks.
That wraps up another episode of Think Bigger. I think you and I both agree that this was the best show to date, primarily because of the host. You know what? In thinking about the show, it was a lot of fun. I'm going to do it next week too, so tune in and let's have fun.